So the 50-year proposed mortgage. Here's what I think. This is what I know. Whether you like Trump or not, he is a businessman. And I'll go back to the year, for me, 2009, when my now ex-husband and I were looking into building a home. The only way back then, I was in education. He worked for Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. Basically, both of us combined, still making pennies. Now that was back in 2009, where the cost of living wasn't even nearly as high as it is today. But basically, living paycheck to paycheck. And if I were still in education, sadly, I'd still be living paycheck to paycheck. So back in the day, back in 2009, when we wanted to build a home, thank God there was a 30-year mortgage option, because we could barely afford that option. But I'm thinking back to 2009. Man, if there would have been a 40-year mortgage option, a 50-year mortgage option, we would not have been so strapped. I'm telling you, when we finally finished building our house in 2011, and we had to begin paying the monthly note on the 30-year mortgage, we barely had enough money for anything after we paid our mortgage. And we were living paycheck to paycheck. Every credit card we had was maxed out. And I remember thinking, man, we got to do this for 30 years. And it was tough. But if you want to buy a house or you want to build a house, you make sacrifices, right? And so that's what we did. Fast forward, after we built our house in 2011, the rates dropped significantly, so much so that we ended up refinancing the house for 15 years, and our house note only increased by about $100 a month. That was one of the smartest things that we could have done at the time, because the rates dropped so substantially. I guess that was around probably 2014 maybe. But yeah, our note was virtually the same for less amount of time. Let me tell you what, home ownership is so hugely important. And in today's world, where the cost of living is so dang high, being house poor is the situation that a whole lot of people are in. So if you are very young and you are wanting to either build or buy, and the 50-year mortgage or the 40-year mortgage, or look, anything over 30 years gets you into a home, I say do it. No one says that you have to pay on it for that long, right? So what we did when we built our house, we got a 30-year mortgage, but when the rates dropped a couple of years later, we refinanced for 15 years. And thankfully, about 7 years ago when I got into real estate, I decided that every single time I had a closing, if I could, I was going to pay an extra monthly note on our house mortgage. And so that's what I ended up doing. So having a 50-year mortgage, I think some people have the misconception that you have to pay on it for 50 years. You absolutely do not. You can pay it off in whatever time you want to. What the 50-year mortgage does, or the 40-year mortgage does, or the 30-year mortgage does, it puts your note in such a way that you can pay the mortgage and still have money to live on month to month to month. You can pay it off at any given time, right? Or let's say that at a 50-year mortgage, the note ends up being $800 a month, and you come into extra money every once in a while and you want to pay another note. That would absolutely help you pay it off way, way, way quicker. So in my opinion, if a longer mortgage is going to help more people in this world that we're living in, where the cost of living is just ridiculously high, if it helps you get into a house on the onset, nothing is going to stop you from paying it off early, right? Just because you have let's just say if you go buy a vehicle and you take out, look, I don't even know when's the last time I financed a vehicle, but the last time I did, I think it was a 6-year note. Nothing said that I had to pay that note for 6 years. If I had extra money or wanted to pay on the principal every month, I could absolutely pay it off early, right? Nothing's tying you to doing it for that long. It's just giving you the option of having a monthly note that you can afford and still have a life to live after you pay your monthly mortgage, right? Now keep in mind, your mortgage includes your house note, your taxes, and your insurance. All of those things combined. So if a longer mortgage is going to help you to live, to help you to afford it, and to not be living house poor, which is what we did the vast majority of our married life, we lived house poor. We could barely afford the mortgage plus living. And I'm telling you, until about 5 years ago, actually, because the first 2 years in real estate, I was in the negative. I'll never forget the very first year in real estate, I made $22,000 gross, but my expenses were $24,000. So my very first year in real estate, that was in the year 2019, I actually netted negative $2,000. So to say, we were absolutely house poor and living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck with every credit card maxed out available. Listen, a 50-year mortgage back in that time period for me would have been awesome. It would have been it would have put us in a situation where we were not house poor. So if you are looking to buy anytime soon and you cannot afford a 30-year mortgage, listen, I'll say a 40 or 50-year mortgage, if it's going to help you get into a house, absolutely look into it. But make it a point that if you don't want to be paying a mortgage for 50 years, you pay it off early. You pay it, you pay an extra note when you can. You pay more towards the principal. There's all kinds of ways that you can pay off a mortgage. People are doing that today with the mortgages that they have. It's absolutely doable. Listen, it is an amazing time to be a buyer, and it is a great time to be a seller. I'm actually on my way right now. If you are looking for some gorgeous wooded property, it's going to be right on the outskirts of Kinder. It is absolutely gorgeous. The seller has paid a company to go in and clear out all the underbrush. So these pieces of property, I think they're going to be about 3.5 acre tracts of land. They are going to be absolutely gorgeous. They have huge live oaks on them, and they're going to be a great place to build a future home. So if you're looking for something out in the country, it's right outside the city limits of Kinder. Get in touch with me and I'll send you that information. I also have a beautiful home with a shop and a pool, and it is I think 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. It has a huge back porch, a gorgeous pool, a huge shop on 4 acres in the Acadia Parish, and in the Iota and Eunice school zones. So that will be coming very soon. Keep an eye on my page, and if you need anything, listen, in real estate, there are no stupid questions. Ask all your questions. Y'all have a fabulous day. Take care.